well, I want to just like kind of take it back, like start from the like necessarily from the beginning. Don't give me the long version of it, but just a little, like brief history of Stacc Styles and how you got into the rap game.
All right, cool. Yeah, uh, I started with CCS Crew in '99, and we basically we were just just basically kind of messing around, and we would download beats off of Napster and play them on an Iowa boombox, and then record them onto a cassette tape. And that's kind of how we started. Like, we were just kind of doing it for fun, but we were still CCS at the time. We recorded our first official single with Jim Pavitt from Illusion Studios in 2001. And then from the recordings through Jim Pavitt that we did, the single, we got signed to a record label out of Canada in 2004. And me and all the guys from CCS Crew, we moved to Canada and we put out our first record. And the record label went bankrupt. We ended up moving back to Tucson, shopped the first CCS Crew record. That was in 2004. And Wobbly Pop, Joseph Hernandez, was like our producer. And, he basically made all the beats, did all the recording. We did everything in-house. So we did all our own recordings, all our own beats. That's how we did it back then. And he passed away in 2005. And it took us 2 years after that to establish. And then we started getting in the local scene, and we did our first show at Vaudeville as CCS Crew. And we just kind of expanded from that. We started doing a bunch of shows: Vaudeville, Sharks, sports. It was like the whole Congress. Like, Congress was way different back then than it is now.
Definitely, that's for sure. I remember those clubs. I actually, I may vaguely remember that first show too.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, like, we sold Vaudeville out on a Wednesday night on our first show, and it was a 21 and up. And we had over 100 people. Vaudeville only held like 150 people.
Yeah.
And we sold it out, man. The line was out the door down the street.
That's awesome.
And yeah, I know. So that's kind of really how it started. And and then it was just like we started building a name, and all the promoters were in town. Were like bloodthirsty sharks in an ocean.
Oh yeah.
They were like, oh, these guys can sell tickets. So we started getting booked on big shows. We started doing shows with Devin the Dude, and then bam, like Phenomenon and Alan and Ryan got a hold of us from promotion and Phenomenon, and that's when we started doing like Head PE and King Spade, and then we did Tech Nine and Paul Wall, and then literally every time Tech Nine came, we got into a really good deal with Strange Music, and we ended up doing like 9 shows with Tech Nine.
That's awesome.
And that's kind of like when we started doing the shows with Tech Nine. At the same time, we used to roadie for Mower, and Mower was signed to Suburban Noise Records, and that's how we met all the Cottonmouth Kings. And then we got members of the Cottonmouth Kings on our record in 2010, 11. We put out our third album in 09 with Potluck and D12, which is Eminem's group. And we did E40 and Nas and Ice Cube, did a bunch of big shows and just kept kind of going with that. And then, as time went on, we added Nathan to the group, and Nathan ended up doing a Fall to Break, and they were doing big things, so he had to leave the group. And when he left the group, Fat Tony had a kid on the way, and we kind of just had to part ways. So that's when I started doing the solo stuff, because CCS was kind of on hold. We were kind of at a gap where everybody was kind of doing their own thing, starting families and had obligations and shit. So I started doing the solo thing. I did my first solo show in 2010 with Head PE. So my first debut solo show was with Head PE at The Rock. And then just kind of went from there. I put out a Stacc Styles solo EP in 2012, While I'm Waiting. And then bam, I put out my first full length last year, which was Inside the Ride. And, just kind of been going ever since. But that's how I got started. You know, it was like through the whole CCS thing. You know, it's just crazy. It just kept building and building. You know.
Well, what's going on currently right now for Stacc Styles?
Right now, I'm working on my new album, Mr. Purple, which is my second full length album. It's the follow up to Inside the Ride, which I put out last year. And you know, it's a whole new thing. It's a whole new ball game. Like it's you know, it is kind of a Reservoir Dogs spinoff because, you know, Mr. Purple was the other guy on the other job. So
yeah. Why do I have to be Mr. Pink?
Yeah, exactly. So exactly. So Mr. Purple is the other guy on the other job, and it's originally I was gonna do where I was gonna have like a lot of covers. Like I was gonna cover like Stuck in the Middle with You, and I'm still gonna do that. I'm still gonna do covers, but I was actually gonna do covers from the Reservoir Dogs soundtrack. Is kind of how it started, and then it ended up becoming something more than that, and it became you know, an original album, not a cover album. And, you know, so now it's just like, it's a whole, like, you know, full on, originally it was just going to be, Mr. Purple was just going to be kind of an EP of covers. And then now it's like it's spawned into this big thing, you know, where it's like, okay, this is going to be the second full length album. Probably going to end up being like, you know, 13, I'm going to say 10 to 13 tracks. So it'll be a full length album.
Awesome.
And, yeah, and
are you currently recording that right now?
Yeah. I'm right now. I'm currently working on it. I'm supposed to record with Matt Good in Phoenix. You know, Good Sound Studios and all that good stuff. Right. Basically, my whole thing is that the deal I have worked out with Matt is, you know, I'm gonna have everything written and ready to go. So that way, when I go in, I don't have to read off a paper or off my notepad. I'm still pretty old school. I don't write any of my lyrics on the phone. Like I write them all on a composition pad. So it's like I have to get everything down and then go in and record it. So I'm more or less in the I'm about halfway through the writing process of it. And getting that done and out. And the reason why it's been taking so long is because I've been working with Lethal Injection, and you know, I'm on 2 tracks on their new record. And you know, besides, it's like Tech Nine, Twista, Crooked Eye from Shady Records, which is Eminem's label, and then Stacc Styles. Like I'm one of the only artists featured locally.
That's
you know
awesome,
what I'm saying?
Man.
Like yeah, like on the so like I've been doing stuff with Lethal Injection and you know, just working with them, and then I've also been you know, working with Stanza Fist. I haven't done anything with Stanza Fist yet, but I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna do a couple, at least do a couple tracks for the new album, like be featured on that kind of too.
Well,
kind of like
awesome.
I was featured on Lethal Injection. I'll probably be featured on a couple Stanza Fist tracks, and then you know, still got Mr. Purple coming out, and then I've been doing a bunch of Two Stone Kids shows, and Two Stone Kids is a side project that started in 2004, and that's me and Jers from CCS Crew, and we have 2 albums out. We have Two Stone Kids, The Cabal, and then we have Two Stone Kids, the self-titled album that came out on 4/20 of 2014, and we're actually going to do a 3rd record called The Smuggler's Inn. So it's Two Stone Kids, Smugglers In. That'll be the 3rd Two Stone Kids release. That should come out in early 2017, and then Mr. Purple Stacc Styles Solo will come out later this year.
Awesome.
So we got those 2 things going on, and then after that, I plan on doing some stuff with CCS Crew, maybe another CCS Crew album. It's in the, you know, we've been talking about it, so. You know, it's crazy, dude. It's been crazy lately because I'm basically.
You are definitely keeping very, very busy. So thank you for taking some time with me. And before we wrap it up, is there any websites, music videos, anything you want to direct people to go check out more about Stacc Styles?
Yeah, actually, you know, right now, like I was saying, I'm working with 5. I'm basically working with 5 different groups. So. I don't put all my eggs in one basket, so it's been real diverse. It's a lot of diversity. StaccStyles.com is actually down right now because we're reconstructing it for the Mr. Purple release.
Awesome.
So instead of having all the old content on the StaccStyles.com, we're going to relaunch it here in the next month or two and have it be all geared towards, you know, Mr. Purple and the new album and everything like that. But I'm going to actually set up some links on StaccStyles.com to where you can actually purchase Inside the Ride, and you can purchase, you can do pre-orders for Mr. Purple, and you can actually purchase my old EP, which like nobody has. Like, very few. I had 150 copies of my EP that I released in 2012. They were all gone in 3 weeks.
Well, then 150 people have them at least, you know, so. And they probably bootlegged them, and now you're probably real famous in Europe. So.
Yeah, no, you know what's crazy is that I was like out of nowhere in December. I was number 2 on iTunes Germany. I had like over 30 copies sold. I had over 30 Germans. I had over 30 Germans buy a copy of Inside the Ride, like all in the same week, and it launched me up to like number 2 in Germany on iTunes. Yeah, it was hilarious. And the same thing happened with Japan. I had like 14 albums sold in a week in Japan, so it was like, it's been really cool. Like it's really cool that like people are finally starting to hear it, like internationally, fucking worldwide.
Yeah.
You know, I've gotten some downloads. Crazy shit. The Netherlands, Estonia, up near Russia, England, Spain. I mean,
all around the world. Sounds like it.
Yeah, it's been crazy, man. And it's not much. It's really not much. Like it's super cool, but it's really not much. It's like,
well,
you know, I'll get like
you want, but it's a start for sure.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, okay, Bill, like, oh my, damn, I got 10 downloads here. Oh, I got fucking, 20, 30 over here. Like, and so it's been really cool.
Well, hey, Stacc, Trees wants to ask you a couple questions real quick, so I'm gonna pass the phone over to her real quick.
All right, cool. Sounds good.
Okay, so hi, Stacc, by the way. Hi, I'm
hello, how are you?
Tomorrow.
Yes, me and my lady are coming tomorrow for sure. I think John and Stacey.
Okay, Brad only has a certain amount of time, so I'm going to put all my bullshit aside. Okay,
so
my questions are, why did you become a rapper? Go.
Why did I become a rapper?
Yep. Well, who was it that you saw that was like, damn, that's who I want to be when I grow up?
It's kind of crazy. Like it's so hard to answer that question because I was always into entertainment and entertaining. I graduated from Amphitheater High School as I got a scholarship for theater arts. I was the first one to ever get it from Amphi.
Congratulations.
So I always loved being on the stage. And it was kind of crazy. It was funny because back in the day we were all doing like backyard wrestling, and I just knew I wanted to be a performer. I knew I wanted to be an entertainer or a performer, and it was really my friends. It was the friends around me that were freestyling that got me to freestyle, and then they started showing me other artists. This is all in like 98, 99, and I started listening to, I was listening already to like E40 and Ice-T, Spice One, all that stuff. And then I got introduced to the Living Legends and Cottonmouth Kings and a bunch of other artists. I mean, Idea and Abilities, they were big influences on me. And, I just kind of ran with it. And it was my buddy who was in CCS Crew kind of pushed me to write and record. Eral. Eral. Sean, his name was Sean Earl, but we all called him Eral. Eral.
Cool.
And and Eral really, like, he influenced me big time to get into it because he was like, dude, he's like, you have a natural gift with rhythm. He's like, you get the rhythm and timing down better than anybody. He's like, you should start writing and recording. He's like, because he's like, you can write a beat really well. and he was the one who really like influenced me to get into it. And then the more he got me into it, the more he showed me these artists that I had never heard of, and the more and more I got into it and was like, okay, this is what I want to do.
Awesome. Okay, so next and last, because Brad is like seriously like chomping on my booty right now. He's like, hurry up, we got a limited time here. Okay, I had to explain myself. So what do you want to say to your fans?
Oh, what I'd say to my fans?
Yep. The most important thing about your music.
My fans are definitely the most important thing. I would say to them, you know, just if it wasn't for my fans, I wouldn't be where I'm at. They've carried me this far. You know what I'm saying? They're the fuel, you know, they're the gasoline in the tank that keeps the engine going, that keeps the machine rolling, you know, and the more love and support I get from them, the stronger I get, the better I get, the further I go, because they're the gas in my tank. They're, you know, the cream of my coffee. They're the heart and soul that really drives it. And that's why I love my fans so much. If anything I could say to them, it would be thank you from the bottom of my heart and soul. And I wouldn't do anything to let them down. You know, I try to give 210% to them all day, every day, and because they give it back. Without the fans, you know, there's no Stacc Styles.
Right. Okay, I'm just gonna keep asking you questions until the time runs out because I'm good. And
that's fine.
There's no run.
What's up?
Too bad. Okay, so if you were not an artist, like vocally, would you be an actor? Is that where you would go, or is it completely flipped? Tell me who you would be if you did not pursue your music career.
If I didn't pursue my music career, like to be honest,
what do you see in your next phase of your life?
Well, I auditioned when I was a kid. I was put, you know, I grew up in my family. My mom was in entertainment. My mom had her Screen Actors Guild. She worked for Holly Hire Casting. She worked for Elizabeth Savage Talent.
Nice.
She was, you know, head talent coordinator. She did casting for Tombstone, Tank Girl. I mean, I auditioned for Dennis the Menace. I auditioned for Natural Born Killers as a kid. I didn't even know what the hell I was really doing. Like she just put me on, like kind of put me on this. And then, you know, I had to do cold reads and everything like that. So it's like, yeah, I think, you know, and like I said, I had a scholarship to Costa Mesa, California when I graduated high school. And I ended up finding a loophole to where I was able to cash out the scholarship and get the money from the scholarship, because they had never, Amphi High in Tucson had never given a scholarship out for theater arts. I was the first one. So when they did that, they messed up the way they put it into like a bank account. I was able to close that bank account out and sell my car, and I moved to Canada and took the money from the scholarship, sold my car and everything just to record my first
And
CCS
when did you live in
record.
Canada?
Yeah, I lived in Canada. I moved to Canada in 2004. We got signed to a record label, Seizure Productions. They promised us, you know, the world. And, you know, they got us a website. They got us merch. They got us all the good shit that we wanted. They even got us radio play up there in Ontario, Canada on a college station.
Nice.
But they couldn't walk their talk. They went bankrupt. You know, they were like, oh, we're going to, they hooked us up the best they could, but they fell through. And it was a huge learning experience for us. And, you know, it was just weird. It was kind of a weird crossroads, because I could have gone to Costa Mesa, California. I could have been an actor. I was really into pro wrestling. I had met John Cena. I had already talked with him. I was going to go to the same wrestling school, UPW, that he graduated from. He got his WWE contract through UPW. And he told me, you know, straight up, like, he's like, dude, you got the talent, like, you know, come out here. So I was gonna be a performer. I was gonna either be, you know, an actor or a pro wrestler. And
nice.
I was, you know, so, but the music really took over. And I think the reason why the music took over was because of my mom and my dad. You know, my mom and my dad were musicians. They always played acoustic guitar, and You know, they always, you know, my dad was in a couple different bands, more rockabilly style, kind of like Steve Earle or Robbie Robertson or the band. Like that was my dad. So
I just have limited time on this recorder, so I didn't want it to cut off in the middle of anything. And
all right, cool.
Much love, man. Peace.
All right, brother. All right, peace.